Translator Ninetales. Dark Gem. Li Tianqing's robes fluttered like banners caught in a tempest. Though the guise had shifted slightly in form, the aura of the former cult master of the Heavenly Devil cult radiated with unassailable mastery. Every movement of hers exuded a martial energy so profound the heavens themselves seemed to yield before her presence. Granny C's form drifted like a wisp, yet when her feet kissed the earth, each step resounded with the weight of mountains. She had perfected the balance of heaviness and lightness, her movement an elegant dance of yin and yang. Li Tianqing extended her palm, and the air around it collapsed inward, drawn into the gravity of her technique. The surrounding void bent around her hand, weaving a lattice of thread-like veins that sparkled with celestial light. Each node upon these ethereal veins represented a star. Dozens formed constellations, and the 360 stars of all magnitudes coalesced into an intricate network that spanned the heavens. It was the great overarching heavenly star's palm force. Gaze closer, and the constellations revealed images within. The purple star bore the pattern of a heavenly palace, signifying imperial dominion. The 7 mansions of the western sky contained over 700 stars and 54 constellations, depicting celestial creatures: Woodwolf of Kui, Metal Dog of Lu, Pheasant of Wei, each radiating its own unique force. Li Tianqing, having absorbed the teachings of the woodcutter and mastering the unity technique, had cultivated this ultimate palm after comprehending the great educational Heavenly Devil scriptures. Had her mind not strayed, her brilliance would have eclipsed all in the realm. The great overarching heavenly star's palm force was a testament to her unrivaled skill. Granny C surged toward the explosion's heart, battling alongside Emperor Yanfeng. A violent pulse erupted, shaking the manor and causing untold monsters within to spew blood in terror, retreating hurriedly to the halls for refuge. Midway up the mountainside, Qinmu and Ling Yuxiu stood shielded by flood dragons, guarding against the divine aftershock. Qinmu's hand rested upon the carefree sword, his eyes opening like twin heavens as he scrutinized the chaos within the manor. His fingers danced along the hilt, summoning Wuji, Taiji, and the runes of 4 symbols and 8 diagrams, weaving calculations at impossible speed. Within the epicenter, the collapsed painting's world faded slowly. Emperor Yanfeng and Li Tianqing circled the void, striking relentlessly, while Blind's black spear elongated with each motion, his steps tracing deadly arcs as he pierced at the painting. From its depths, spectral arms and legs counterattacked. Matching the 3 masters blow for blow, Emperor Yanfeng's magic thundered with authority. Though not at his peak, his prowess eclipsed the world, surpassing even Li Tianqing and Blind. Each strike bore the force of mountains, each motion the grandeur of a sovereign. Li Tianqing, however, wielded divine arts at a higher echelon. Her unity technique, though incomplete, allowed her to blend the myriad techniques' great educational Heavenly Devil scriptures into an orchestrated symphony of destruction. The great, overarching Heavenly Star's palm force alone combined over 300 divine arts into a single palm, its might unfathomable. Qinmu's thoughts brimmed with awe. Cult Master Lai is undeniably genius, though her path has strayed. Blind, already proven against the dragon-rearing sovereign, now displayed even greater potency. His divine spear Longtuo stretched and surged with unparalleled force, each strike correcting the lapses of his allies, allowing Li Tianqing and Emperor Yanfeng to unleash their arts without restraint. Yet even the trio struggled against Xing-An, whose painted form floated with unyielding defiance. The fists and feet within struck back with retaliatory ferocity. Xing-An's magic and corporeal might were formidable. Blood seeped from the 3 masters' mouths, and the painting itself split beneath the tremors. Qinmu's brow furrowed. The tide was unfavorable. He called Chief Yu, and Yu Zhaoqing descended like a shooting star, fingers converging into a lethal point. She struck at the painting, a flash of light and air, piercing with blade-like precision. A counterforce met her, shaking her delicate form, but her wings unfurled, lifting her mid-air as runes blazed along her attire. Light surged through her scales into the painting, drawing forth a trickle of blood and reinvigorating Emperor Yanfeng and Li Tianqing's assaults. "Hide in the halls," Qinmu whispered to the girls. Ling Yuxiu swiftly led Yan Jingjing and the others to shelter. Calculations flowed in Chinmu's mind, yet his wisdom teetered on the edge of insufficiency. He positioned himself, letting the flood dragons coil about, lending him their power. His aura soared, his body stretching, scales erupting like armor of obsidian. The nine heavens eyes awakening technique ignited within him, marking his pupils with celestial formations. He perceived the flaw in Xing'an's form, the limbs in disharmony, resisting their own coordination. Communing mentally with Yu Zhaoqing, he transmitted the insight to blind Li Tianxing and Emperor Yanfeng. With palms gripping the carefree sword, Chinmu surged, sword light split the heavens, legs propelling him with unparalleled swiftness, leaving hundreds of overlapping afterimages racing toward the painting. Carefree sword's brilliance pierced Xing'an's chest as Blind's divine spear. Long Tuo struck from behind. Simultaneously, Emperor Yanfeng and Li Tianxing's palms unleashed the nine-dragon mountain breaking palm and great overarching heavenly star's palm force against his temples, shattering bone and will. Yu Zhaoqing's energy bound his feet to the earth. Relief surged. With Yu Zhaoqing's coordination, the three masters could strike in unison, dispatching Xing'an in a single, decisive sweep. Xing'an gasped praise through bloodied lips. Momentarily restored, his body reformed, flicking Chinmu aside and causing the flood dragons to wail as they fell. Blind's spear was assailed, yet the black bone dragon of Long Tuo recoiled, resisting Xing'an's assault. The painted warrior rose, wounds replaced with new limbs and organs, each head and arm reconstituting with terrifying precision. Even as Li Tianxing prepared her palm, Xing'an's three faces twisted with cruel smiles, man and woman, young and old. Cult Master Li, you've planted a devil in the Dao heart? Fear not, your death shall preserve this form. The heavens trembled, the mountains quivered, and the air itself seemed to sigh under the fury of mortal and divine arts intertwined, a ballet of destruction writ in Wuxia legend. Li Tianxing's eyes flickered, and with a mere shift of his intention, the great overarching heavenly star's palm force surged forth like a tempest of cosmic energy. Her mastery over spell divine arts was unrivaled. Each node of her palm force a star that revolved and shifted, altering its nature and amplifying its might in endless variations. Though it bore the semblance of corporeal combat, at its essence it was a spell divine art, limitless in its depth, vast in its transformations. In truth, after attaining such perfection, Li Tianxing's ambition for further cultivation had waned, for no other art could surpass her creation. Within the great educational heavenly devil scriptures, the unity technique was supreme, and she had forged her palm force into a unity technique capable of controlling all arts within the scripture. Yet Xing'an, unmoved, paid no heed to the myriad transformations, ignoring each flourish and shift of her divine power. No matter how elaborate her techniques became, he shattered them with raw, unyielding force. God's fist, God's might, God's mystical authority. He was a deity unbound, crushing all that dared stand before him. Blood seeped from Li Tianxing's lips as a terrifying pressure from Xing'an's palm assaulted her vital qi, striking the devil seed within her. Memories of past failures flitted through her mind. Village chief and blind had once been powerless to save Siyuyu. Old Rulai had failed to enlighten her. Now Xing'an aimed directly for the origin, seeking total annihilation. Emperor Yanfeng and Blind launched their assaults, and Yu Zhaoqing rose to fight, but Xing'an's four hands repelled them, his vital qi ascending to form a divine bridge upon which his primordial spirit clashed with Yu Zhaoqing, blocking their strikes and wounding them grievously. Too terrifying, too overwhelming. Emperor Yanfeng found himself unable to penetrate Xing'an's 3 heads and 6 arms, and though Blind possessed the ability to pierce defences, Xing'an's sheer magical power rendered the attacks ineffectual. On the divine bridge, the struggle between Yu Zhaoqing and Xing'an seethed with peril. His primordial spirit shifted ceaselessly. At times a green dragon god, a white tiger god, a black tortoise, or a vermilion bird. He had even seized the spirits of gods once cultivated by mortals. Invulnerable? Invulnerable. Li Tianxing's blood flowed freely, and the devil seed quivered. Yet before her triumph could manifest, Siyu's corporeal body might falter, for the body she inhabited was borrowed, her essence intertwined with Li Tianxing's own heart devil. Siyu's cultivation had surged in the past year, breaking through life and death and recently the divine bridge. But her primordial spirit could not withstand Xing'an's assault. Death threatened to claim her before Li Tianxing could seize control. Delirious with anticipation, Li Tianxing's mind danced with visions of conquest. Once Yu Yu fell, the body would be hers. Freedom, beauty, and power lay at her feet. Her desire had never been for Yu herself, but for the perfection of her body, a form of such beauty that even the gods might covet it. With this prize, she could command attention, ignite passions, and dominate the hearts of men. She was the former heavenly devil cult master. Escape was within her grasp, and none could impede her. The only task was patience until Xing'an obliterated Siyu's primordial spirit. Yet a sudden unease stirred in her heart. She recalled a radiant morning a century past when the young patriarch had delivered a girl of the Sea family into her charge. "This is Siyu, the heavenly saint cult saintess of this generation, but I cannot teach her. You are young and strong. Endure the trials," he had said, casting the child before him and departing as though she were a feral beast. At that first glance, Li Tianxing, still in his masculine form, had felt an unprecedented stir within his heart, a warmth that made the world shrink to the presence of the girl. Bound by masterly duty, he suppressed his burgeoning desires and taught with unwavering devotion, yet the seed of temptation had been sown. Mischief had blossomed into charm, and he found himself drawn irresistibly to the disciple he was sworn to guide. Forbidden desire twisted into obsession, transforming his Tao heart until the goal was no longer the girl herself, but the perfect vessel she embodied. He had purged rivals, exiled or slain dissenters, divorced his first wife, and orchestrated his union with the disciple. Yet even then, Siyu resisted, striking to kill, while he, a heart devil, lay in wait within her Tao heart. Li Tianxing's reflection left his gaze vacant. "I have lost. Since that first encounter, my Tao heart has been defeated." The realization struck harder than Xing'an's blows, and he coughed blood, retreating under the unrelenting pressure. That morning had been the inception of his ruin, a moment when infatuation and forbidden desire entwined to shatter his inner resolve. It was not her body he sought, but the twisted desires of his own heart. Yet, roused by the young patriarch's words, he remembered the lesson of the great educational heavenly devil scriptures. Great educational, signifying inheritance and guidance. He had strayed from this path. With a hiss of rage, a devilish light erupted from Siyu's body, shooting forth from her heart, piercing toward Xing'an. That black radiance formed a bridge for Li Tianxing's primordial spirit to surge upon. "My good disciple, go." Entering Xing'an's Tao heart, he felt an unprecedented peace, a clarity long denied. Around them, chaos reigned. Granny C awestruck, Yu Zhaoqing coughing blood from her fall. Blind, his divine spear, Long Tuo, bent and arm broken. Emperor Yanfeng flung skyward, hurled headfirst to the ground. Empress Dowager and others struggled to rise. Cripple crawled feebly, Deaf trembled while clutching his brush. Qin Mu hastened to refine spirit pills, tending to the wounded flood dragons. All had been crushed beneath the overwhelming might. Xing'an's hand swept toward Granny C, intent on annihilation, yet halted and softened, smoothing her hair with a gentle touch. One head lowered, gaze tender as a century-old morning. "You, live beautifully, quickly!" Li Tianxing's voice echoed from Xing'an's mind, then fierce and unyielding. "Xing'an, follow me to death! Heavenly devil disintegration! Cult Master Li, you are too presumptuous! Mere devil seed, yet you wish to seize my body," roared the other heads. A violent tremor erupted, limbs flailing uncontrollably. Cripple hurled himself towards Xing'an's eyes. Yu Zhaoqing unleashed the last of her strength, multicolored rays restraining him. Blind drove his spear into Xing'an's heart with all his might. Emperor Yanfeng summoned lightning thick as dragons, striking frantically. "A bunch of trash!" Xing'an's body split asunder. Heads, arms, chest, heart, legs scattering, he spat fury. "Heavenly devil disintegration, you dare against me?" All were flung violently, blood spattering endlessly. Qin Mu ascended, flood dragons entwining him, raising his aura. Sword poised against the reassembling Xing'an. "Begone!" Xing'an's arms struck repeatedly, maiming the dragons. He retracted and attached new limbs, flicking Qin Mu aside coldly. The freshly connected arm fell away, one eye rolled free, then an ear. His body faltered as fragments fell, and he stared at Qin Mu bewildered. "Poisoned?" Chinmu, bloodied yet unbowed, replied grimly. A supplement refined for you. It worked flawlessly. The hall trembled with the clash of divine wills, a symphony of destruction and defiance, and the Wuxia world bore witness to the inexorable tide of fate and martial destiny.